On today's show, Apple stock up as predicted after 1-to-4 split. Apple news sites finally report on the 12-inch MacBook with Apple Silicon that we talked about on August 2nd. And some Apple Watch Series 5 models are only available for in-store pickup, indicating an imminent refresh.
This is the Apple Daily.
I'm David for Living on iPad, and I simplify Apple so everything just works for you. If you want the latest Apple news, rumours and leaks every weekday at 12 UTC, hit like, subscribe and ring the bell so you can join my notification squad and not miss a thing. When you join the notification squad, do let me know in the comments so that I can give you a shout out in the next video, and we will have our new members shout outs at the end of this video. Apple stock up as predicted after 1-to-4 split. So we're not going to turn this channel into one that talks about stocks all the time. The value of Apple doesn't really matter to any of us. However, it's quite interesting to pay attention a little bit when big things happen. So Apple has just split each of their shares into 4 individual shares, each worth a quarter of the value of one old share. So that means that each share at the moment is worth about $1.29. Now today is the first day that these new shares have been trading. After the first day, they are up 3.4% just on the day, which is quite a lot of money. Market cap at the end of the day is $2.207 trillion. The last time that we talked about this was a couple of weeks ago, and it was when Apple had just hit the $2 trillion mark, which was insane. It was the first time an American company had done that. They're now at 2.207 trillion, so they're up basically 10% in just a few weeks. That's kind of crazy. Someone posted on Facebook today saying, what would you tell your 15-year-old self if you could go back in time? And I put, buy Apple stock. Apple news sites finally report on the 12-inch MacBook with Apple Silicon that we talked about on August the 2nd. So in one of the earliest videos that I put out on this channel, since I kind of went over to generally Apple news rather than just trying to do purely iPad tutorials and things like that, I was talking about the link from Kamiya KJ on Twitter, which was around the 12-inch MacBook, which is likely to be the first Apple Silicon Mac that gets released to the general public. Now, the reason I found out about it was Linus Sebastian of Linus Tech Tips had posted about it being a $799 Mac. Now, it looks like that might be the education price, and it might be coming in at $849, still well under the price of the existing Macs. That all is yet to be seen. Now, it must be said that video that we made had pretty terrible audio, but it has been viewed over 1,000 times, and for a very small channel like mine, that is not too bad. If you want to subject yourself to the sound, basically my camera was plugged in and it was picking up a horrible hum, so I was trying to take that out, and it was awful. But if you want to subject yourself to that sound and watch the original, you can see it up in the cards just up here. If you don't, I will run you through the big details, which not everyone still seems to be mentioning. So it will be the Apple 12-inch MacBook chassis with the 4th generation Butterfly keyboard. Now, that is the best of the Butterfly keyboards. Butterfly keyboard's still not the best keyboard that Apple has ever made. The Magic keyboards are the ones that are great to type on. The Butterfly keyboards are the ones that don't really move very much and apparently stick quite often. They've had to do repair programs on that. It's going to come with an A14X chip, which is the higher powered one. We think that that's going to, according to Luke Miani's extrapolations, going to be around about 7,500 points on Geekbench 5, which puts it about in line with an i9 processor from Intel, which is pretty stunning. You will have the option of 8 or 16 gigabytes of RAM. You will have 256, 512 or a full terabyte of SSD potentially available. 15 to 20 hours of battery life, obviously depending on what you're doing, but that's still probably between 50 and 100% increase on battery life from the previous version. It will have that 720p potato-based camera for FaceTime and a single USB-C port. So it's not going to gain connectivity. It is going to be almost exactly the same, in fact, as your iPad Pro will have, with just the one USB-C port. The iPad Pro also has the smart connector, which can be used for charging, but that is typically just when you're attaching it to a keyboard case. So I wouldn't call that an extra bit of I/O because the MacBook already has a keyboard and a trackpad attached to it. Now, I've got to say, I love the chassis for these things. I think they're a really nice looking Mac. Surely the Air should be the lightest one, but no, the MacBook is the lightest one because it's the most basic, and let's see what happens. We don't know where Apple's going to position everything. I also have a theory that maybe they might rename some stuff, because when we moved over from PowerPC to Intel, they renamed stuff. So we had iBooks, which became MacBooks. We had PowerBooks, which became MacBook Pros. We had Power Macs, which became Mac Pros. Mac Mini stayed the same, iMac stayed the same. That's kind of it. Some Apple Watch Series 5 models only available for in-store pickup. We're pretty confident that there will be product releases next week. I reported on the leaks of a September the 10th event, again quite a little while ago. John Prosser is adamant that there won't be an event on September the 10th because that is a Thursday. There's now rumours that it could be on September the 9th, which is the Wednesday that the releases happen, and then shipping from the Friday the 11th. We will see what happens with that, but essentially next week we're looking at some new products. We don't know if it will be a press release or if it will be a keynote style produced video. It could go either way because they haven't got to invite people to Apple Campus to do it. So we could be looking at somewhere in the middle between the two. But what are we expecting to see? Apple Watch Series 5, certain models are now becoming unavailable to order online. Delivery unavailable is all that it says on the website, but you can pick them up in store. So that just indicates that we are getting to the end of the production run that they've done for the Series 5. It also suggests that the Series 5 is not going to be hanging around as a lower price model. They will probably eliminate that, keep the Series 3, or potentially update it to an Apple Watch SE, which would have new internals. But the rumours are that that won't be arriving with us until March next year. Changes that we're expecting for the Apple Watch Series 6 include basically keeping the same form factor, deleting that Force Touch layer because Force Touch has disappeared from watchOS version 7. So we're expecting that they will just do away with that hardware and potentially squeeze a little bit more battery in there. Features wise, we're expecting faster Wi-Fi, a faster chip, and potentially the pulse oximeter coming to Apple Watch. Pulse oximeter is something that sits on your skin, measures the oxygen saturation in your blood. Now, this is very useful for people, for example, suffering with COVID-19, and it gives a good indication of health for them. One other rumoured feature is that the watch could preempt workouts based on you changing the straps. Now, this is something that I believe Apple has had a patent revealed for. However, there's been no concrete suggestion that that's coming this year, so I wouldn't hold your breath, but it would have fit in really well with Apple's fitness program, which we think is going to be added as a subscription option to Apple services. But let me know in the comments, which Apple devices are you most excited for this fall? Are you excited for the Apple Watch, an iPhone, iPhone 12 or 12 Pro, Apple Silicon, iPads? What is it that you want to get your hands on as soon as possible? Let me know in the comments. And speaking of the comments, if you want to join our notification squad, subscribe, hit the bell, and let me know down in the comments of this video that you have joined my notification squad so I can shout you out in the next video. And to that end, thank you so much for joining our notification squad to the Fred33 and Jim Harvey. Now, Jim has certainly been commenting all the way through from quite early on in our videos. Thank you very much, Jim. The Fred has sent me a lovely article to read through about the neural engines and learning a little bit more about that, so look out for some more information coming on that pretty soon. But thank you for joining my notification squad. The rest of you guys, you also rock, and I would love to make this party a little bit bigger, and I'll see you on the next show tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching.